Hello guys, so in this video we're going to talk a little bit more about lines of interpenetration as we've already done in class. So I'm just gonna do the example that we have done in class one more time. So for those who were not present, we said the lines of interpenetration are the lines formed when two solid shapes meet and pass through each other. So they show the true path of contact between the surfaces and allow us to draw the intersection accurately. So you see this in real life when pipes connect at different angles, when ventilation ducts join, when structural members intersect in a frame. So in engineering drawing, understanding these lines helps you to present clear and realistic views of such assemblies. So in this lesson, I will explain how these lines form, why they're important, and how to construct them correctly in your drawings. So we're just gonna do this example. So I said when you are given this, clearly you can see there's a diameter symbol to show you that this is a cylindrical pipe. So this one we can call it a cylindrical pipe A, and this one branch B. So also that one, it has a diameter symbol to show that this is cylindrical. Yes. So when you draw this, like I said, if you have a front view of a cylinder and a top view, let's say this is a top view and a front view, you do not start there and go there. You start here and go there, right? So now that you know that this is a cylinder, it means you are going to start on its top view, then you go there. And that one, you know as well that it's a cylinder, you're gonna start on a circle and go there. They call that the auxiliary circles. So let us see how we can actually deal with such a question. Right, so what you want to do first is to just put on your center lines. Just secure that. You put on your center lines. You just take it here. Like that. And then I may have moved. Sorry. Right. So as I've mentioned in class, these questions, they can be given they can be given in two scenarios. When you have a cylinder that is like these two being symmetrical, meaning the cylinder that is joining, or the branch that is joining this main pipe, is joining and it's on center right there, meaning if you cut it in half, you're going to get two equal halves. So there can be another scenario where you find that it's off center, right, by a certain measurement. So when it's off center, they will give you two views, this one and that one. But if they only give you one, it means you can assume that the two are symmetrical, right? So for this one, we're going to assume that they are symmetrical. There you measure your 30 radius. Like that. and then that is supposed to be projected upwards. So now for projection, I'm going to use different colors. All right, I will do that. Let me just for now, just for clarity's sake. And then our front view will start there. I do get questions sometimes whether the distance between these two right there matters. So it does not matter, right? The distance between the two does not matter. You can put it there, you can put it there, it really changes nothing, right? And then we measure 100. I'm just gonna use this. It's fine. I'll just take that. That's 100. I also would love to take the 50 as well. And that's the 50. So the very first thing that you are going to do when you get a question like this is to replicate the given, to copy the given view. And that is exactly what I'm doing. And this side will be a dark line right there. And then on the 50, there is this other center line there. The center line there. And just draw this right. Right there. So now we have to insert the branch B right there. So like I said, when you have a cylinder, you start on the circle, then you project it back to that one. You don't start it here and project it there. You start there, project it on the other side. And then let's say we put the circle somewhere there. And people ask me sometimes whether it matters if the auxiliary circles are in line. It does not matter. Again, you can put this one slightly there and that one slightly over there. It doesn't change anything. And then we measure 21. And that will give us a diameter 42. Draw your auxiliary circle. Draw your auxiliary circle. Just remove this. So these two are supposed to come over there. Over there. Over there. And over there. Like that. it was said that it is 25 from here to there. That's what you're gonna do. Gonna measure 25. Right there. Right there. So now you have successfully copied the question, right? You have successfully copied the question. So as I usually say in class, if you get this type of questions and you don't know what to do with it, just copy the question and leave it alone, right? Copy the question and leave it alone. You are going to get some few marks for that, rather than just getting a 0 for it. So if you don't know what to do with it, just copy the question, leave it alone, right? Now, let us start answering the question. Now, we want the curve of interpenetration, the lines of interpenetration, and we also would love to have the development of branch B, right? So, now, if this was just the square, it would be easier because the square just have corners. We'll just project and say corner number 1, corner number 2, corner number 3. So now this is a circle and it doesn't have corners. So what do? We're supposed to divide that circle into 12 equal parts so that it can give us points there that we can then now join into a smooth curve right there, right? Because if this was a square, or if this was a square like this, this would just appear to be something like that, right? Because it only have corners there. So since it's a circle, it's going to have to appear something like that, right? And in order for you to do this, you're supposed to get just a few points right there so that you can join them freehand, right? Number 2, I believe you will agree with me that a person who have these points like this will find it more difficult to join these points than a person who have these points, right? Like this. You find that this one is not as smooth as this one, right? Because this one, the points are closer to one another, so you can easily join them. So now when you are dividing your circle, this circle you can either divide it into 8 equal parts, which is acceptable, or you can divide it into 12 equal parts, which is the most common one, right? And it's usually the most accurate one. So now, to divide the circle, you can use either a compass or a set square. I prefer the compass because the compass, when you finally now get questions that this thing is joining at an angle, it usually is difficult to use the set square right there. So focus on using only one method and one method only, and then practice with it so that when you get to the exam you do not forget. So now we're going to use the compass to divide that circle. So now when you use a compass to divide a circle, you're going to keep the radius of that circle, the radius that you used, right? And then you're going to put it first right there on the center line. You mark once and you mark for the second time on the other side. And then you put it on the other center line like this. You mark again and you mark there. You take it, you put it right there, you mark and you mark. You put it right here, you mark and you mark. Just like that. Then now you can join it. Ouch. So like that. And then because this and this are the same thing, you're also supposed to divide that, right? You put it right here, you mark and you mark. You put it right here, you mark and you mark. Put it right there, you mark. Ouch, sorry. And you mark. Put it right there, mark and you mark. Just like that. And you join it. There, there. Right there. Right? Now, because you are supposed to be tracing points, so in order for you to trace those points effectively, you are supposed to number those points, right? Now, I'm going to number these points using two colors, right? Now, I'm going to mark from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the green pen. And then with the red pen, I'm going to mark 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right. Just like that. Now, you're gonna have to decide, because when you look at this thing, just give me a second. I was trying to find something to give you an example with, but it's okay. When you look at this thing, this is a front view, right? It means there's the front and then there's the back. So with this numbering, there are numbers that will be in front and there are numbers that will be at the back, right? So now let us decide and agree that the green ones will be in front, the red ones will be at the back, right? So now, because these two things are the same thing, this numbering is supposed to correspond with that one, right? If you come and number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this one, you will miss it when it's time for you to trace those points, right? So now, when you are tracing your numberings, there are two methods that you can use in order for you to be able to number this one correctly. So what you do is, you are supposed to first focus on 1, 4, 7, and 10, because they lie on the center lines, right? Also this side, they are going to lie on the center lines. So you're going to have to focus on 1, 4, 7, and 10 first. Let's put it there. This one will be point number 1 right there, point number 4, and point number 7, right? Number 1, number 4, and number 7. And then at the back, there will be 10 there, isn't it? So now, first of all, we're going to trace these 4 points right here first, right? Now, when you check this one is on top, right? If it was this phone right there, it means 1 would be here, 7 would be there, and 4 and 10 would be in the middle, isn't it? So now, if this is the front view, in order for us to get the top view, we're supposed to rotate this 90 degrees. See? Front view, in order for us to get the top view, we have to rotate it 90 degrees. So let us first look at 1 and 7, by the way. If 1 is here and 7 is here, it means if you rotate this 90 degrees, 1 and 7 are going to be right there, right? And check, 1 is here, 7 is here. It means if you rotate this, 7 is going under 1, right? It means now 7 will be below 1, right? Now, 7 and 1 are going to be right here, right? So now when you check, since we said these ones, the green ones, are right here in front, right? The green ones are right here in front, right here. It means when you rotate this 90 degrees, they are going to be this side at the bottom. You see? They were right here in front. When you rotate it 90 degrees, they are going to the bottom, right? So it means now you can now put your 1 there. Then you can number it going that way. But then we'll also check if it really changes anything, if you can just number it that direction. We'll see if it changes anything. Then we're going to put 1 there. We put 2. We put 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to put our 7. I don't know, should we put it in red? It really changes nothing, to be honest. It's fine. Let's put it in green so that it corresponds to that. And then 8, 9, 10, 11, then 12, like that. You see how the numbers shifted, right? It means now 10, it shifted to the other side. By the way, it's now visible 10, right? And then 4 shifted to the bottom. Now, method number 2, how I usually do it, I use this, right? There, you see it corresponds, right? So now picture this as a lid, that thing that we use to close a pot, right? To close a pot. I don't know what you call it in your language. isiZulu, I don't know, they call it isivalo. In Tsonga, we call it shvalo, ne? So you're closing a pot with that thing, right? So now let us check. Since this is the front view, we are going to close the pot with it, and then we want the top view, right? We rotate it 90 degrees, isn't it? And then we open the pot. You see now, 1 and 7, they shifted. But that is only because of how you close the pot. But then, what remains is the green ones are still at the bottom. I'll show you why that doesn't matter, by the way. Now, let us redo it again. It's that one. You close the pot, 90 degrees, and you open it. See now the numbers are on top right there. But then what remains is you still have 1 and 7 there. You still have 4 and 10 right there. Let us close it like we closed it at first. You close it 90 degrees, and then you open it like that. So now, why doesn't it matter? We said this thing is symmetrical, right? Meaning, if you have 2 and 6 there and have 2 and 6 there, it's still the same thing, because at the end of the day, they are going to be in one line, right? It really doesn't matter. What matters is you have the green ones at the bottom. That what matters. You have the green ones at the bottom. Now, if you have it on top, yeah, it's still fine, as long as you didn't tell anybody that you are taking these ones as the ones in front or as the ones at the back, or whatever the case may be. So it really changes nothing. So when you see that, don't panic. Don't panic. It changes nothing. So it's like that. You're going to close the pot. You're going to bring it 90 degrees. You're going to open it. The green ones are supposed to be at the bottom, right? And the red one are supposed to be on top. You can close it like that, like this, and like that. See, now the green ones are on top. But at the end of the day, if you know what you're doing, it will still work. But I wouldn't want you to do that. So now, let us focus on this one. Now, we have to trace these points and make sure that we follow each and every one of them accurately. And how do we do that? We're supposed to do to achieve that using projection lines, right? So now I'm just gonna repeat this numbering. It does not matter whether this one is there, that one is there. It's still the same thing, right? Still the same thing. As long as you have 1 and 7 there and you have 4 and 10 right there, it changes nothing, right? 1, 4, 7, and 10 are supposed to lie on the center lines. That's very, very important, right? So this one can be there, this one can be there, it changes nothing. 4 and 10 will still be there, and then those other ones will still follow like that. It changes nothing. So do not panic when you see it like that. Do not panic. Okay. So, but then to be just accurate, if we are going to be following this method of putting it there, what is it? Taking this, we put it there, 90 degrees, and we open it. To be just accurate, 1 would be there, 7 would be there, and then these 2 will swap as well. 5, you see, 4 will still remain there. It really changes nothing. And then 12 will go on the other side, 8, 11, 9, and then 10. At the end of the day, it changes nothing. What happens is they still share a point, a line. You see, when you project here, because I know someone is probably panicking right now. When you do this, when you do that, see, they're still on the same line. It changes nothing. That numbering is just for you to just trace where the point is and whatever. But at the end of the day, changes nothing. And then, like this. See, even that side. Same. It changes nothing. So do not panic when you see it like that. What matters is 1 and 7, 4 and 10. They should be on the center lines. Once you miss that one, you are done. If you have numbered it this way, 1, 4, 7, and 10 are supposed to be on the center lines. That's the most important thing right there. The other thing, forget about it. Right then. Okay, so let me just, let's say we put 2 and 3 and 5, 6, and the other 12, 11, 9, and 8, like that. Sorry, just give me a second. Right, and then there we have 2, we have 3, and then on the other side we have 12, we have 11, we have 6, we have 5, we have 8, we have 9. So these ones right now, they're at the bottom. These ones, they're on top. They're green, right? So if you check right here, I think I solved this, but then it's fine. Yeah, just focus on this one. I think I solved the colors. It's fine. I was supposed to put these ones to be green and those ones to be red. Doesn't matter anyway. Right. And then so now, like I said, this thing is symmetrical, meaning this point and that point they share, this point and that point they share, this point and that point they share. Take it up. Like that. So now let us look at the ones that will be in front. We're gonna trace 1 along this line. It meets the other one right there. Let's trace 2 here, and 2, it meets the other 2 right there. And then let's trace 3, it means the other 3 right there. Let's trace 4 on the last line, it means the other 4 there. Let's trace 5. It meets the other 5 right here. 6. It meets the other 6 right here. I didn't oppose that green. I was just there. I was just panicking as well, but I didn't. Okay, fine. Number 7. Number 7 is right there, right? And then these are all the points that are in front. Now, why am I saying I didn't oppose that? You see, these ones are the green ones. They are in front on the front view, right? They are still in front here, but then now this is the top view. So the only ones that can be visible, the green ones on the top view, is these ones. And then the other ones are at the bottom. That's why they are right here. So I didn't oppose the color. Sorry for that confusion. So now you are supposed to join this with a very smooth free end. My free end is not that good, but I hope yours will be. Like that, right? So the other ones, the red ones, they are also going to be on top of those ones. 8, you see, you're going to trace 8 there. See, if you trace 9, you're gonna trace it there. You trace 10, you're gonna trace 10 there. You trace 11, you're gonna trace 11 there. You trace 12, you're gonna trace 12 there. Shouldn't be that difficult. Like that. So now they also request for you to draw the development, right? So I'm just gonna cut this video and then I'll put in the development as a separate video. Thank you.